Okay.
All right. So this is the incredible and wonderful Dianna Whitley. Now, what I consider to be a good friend of mine. Today, she's going to be talking about tapping and EFT, emotional freedom therapy or technique? Therapy.
Technique. Actually, now it's techniques. Originally, it was technique, but now it's techniques.
Okay. And so I know you're all going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it. So I'm going to hand over to you, Dianna. And thanks again for doing this for our group. We're really grateful to you, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, and I'll see you in a bit. I'll switch my mic and sound off and let you get on. Okay. See you soon. See you soon.
Thank you for having me do this, and thank you everyone for showing up. I love tapping and I love teaching it, and I think everyone should know how to do it. This is my first time teaching on Zoom. I've taught it to about 7,000 people, but always in person, and that's different. So if I stumble or have a little trouble with the technology, please just bear with me. I want to say a thank you to Gary Craig. He's the one who put this together. Originally, tapping was very complicated. There was a book about this thick, and you had to go through all these very specific, very complicated ways to get to where you wanted to be. And Gary Craig, who was an engineer and had a very systematic way of looking at things, analyzed it, took a long time to do it, and came up with this very simple, very easy way of doing it, which anyone can learn in about 2 minutes. This could be a 5-minute class. It'll be a little longer, but literally that's how easy it is to learn. I taught it once. I was at a conference I used to have centers in California, and we would meet for conferences, and I took a cab to the airport to go home and taught it to the cab driver, which took less than 5 minutes. And then he went back to pick up someone else, and she mentioned she had a headache, and he taught it to her after only learning it for 5 minutes. So that's how easy it is. And I have a PowerPoint at the end. I'm not going to use it now because I'd rather teach it to you in like a Simon Says kind of way, where you'll just follow along with me. But don't worry about remembering the points or getting it right. First of all, it's a very flexible system. If you learned it from 5 different people, you'd probably learn it 5 slightly different ways. And you can do it one-handed, two-handed. You can use other points other than the ones I'm going to teach you. It's just really flexible. So don't worry about getting the points right. So how many of you, with a physical show of hands, know about tapping? Okay, great. And how many of you already know how to tap? Okay, great. So let me tell you how I found tapping to begin with. When I had these centers, it was Positive Changes Hypnosis, and that's what we did in Southern California. And a friend of mine called me one day and told me that he had this was 20 years ago. He said he had this thing that he wanted to teach me. You tap and all these miracles happen. And I'm going, yeah, right, sure. And he said, no, I have to come teach it to your clients. And I said, well, you know, my clients are happy with hypnosis. Things are working well. It's not broken. I don't want to fix it. But I'm thinking in my head, this sounds a little too woo for me. And he wouldn't let it go. He kept calling me and saying that I had to show this to my clients. So finally, I scheduled a class. And that day, we did it on pain. And let me back up a minute. The reason I mentioned the 7,000 is, even though I've taught that many people, I have literally, honestly, never seen anyone not get relief from a negative emotion. Anger, sadness, fear, anxiety, any of the negative emotions you can name. Pain and things like allergies, physical things. I don't know what the percentage is, but it isn't that strong. I mean, it's strong, but not as strong as it is for the emotions. But for some reason, he wanted to teach it on pain, and I didn't know any better, so we did it. We had a small class, but 5 people, probably because I was reluctant to do it at all. I didn't promote it. And so when he started to teach it, he did what I'm going to do in a few minutes and asked for a volunteer and someone who was in pain at that moment. So no one raised their hands. And then finally one woman did. And she said, well, I'll come up and be the person you demonstrate with, but I'll tell you right now, it's not going to work. I've been in pain for 10 years. I had a bad car accident. I've literally done everything that you can think of to get rid of the pain. And I have been in pain for 10 years. So, but she went up anyway. So after 2, 3, 4 minutes at the most of him tapping with her, her eyes just got like pies. And she went, it's not better, it's gone. It's completely gone. So that certainly got my attention. But I still being a little skeptical. I called her the next day, and then I called her 3 days later, called her a week later, and she was out of pain. And she said, sometimes it'll come back a little bit because I'll do too much gardening or, too many physical things. But then I tap and it goes away. So I became a believer of that and started teaching it to everyone who came to the centers and everyone that anyone I passed by on the street practically, because I honestly do think this is something that everyone should know. So let me see. Okay. The idea is that we're going to tap on these acupressure points while we say certain things. When I say we, I'll just do it with one person working with them, but I'd like all of you to tap with us, because one of the really wonderful things about tapping is everyone here may be interested in it for a different reason. And even though we'll be tapping with one person on one issue, you are probably going to get a huge benefit, if not get rid of whatever is bothering you. It's called borrowing benefits, and it just seems to work that way. So there should be someone who can, by thinking about stress, anxiety, anger, fear, any negative emotion, where you can actually feel it in your body by just thinking about it. You might have to close your eyes to make it really real. But if everyone would do that now, and then give it a number on a scale of 1 to 10, and then someone preferably who has at least an 8, if you would volunteer to be the person that we do it with. Or a 7, 6.
Do you want me to spotlight the person as you do it, or do you want to?
Can we both of us be on at the same time?
I'm not sure. I'll try.
Because they're going to follow me.
Right.
They're going to do what I do.
Okay. Have you got your volunteer yet?
No, I don't.
Well, mine
There
was
we
about.
go.
Mine was
Thank you,
about,
Diana. All right. And Ron, if we have time, we can do you after we go over some other things, but we'll start with Diana. And as I said, you might find that yours goes away just going along with this. So do I need to do something to make it happen? Or are you going to do it to have the 2 screens? And if not, we can do it this way. While you're doing that, I'm going to show everyone.
is it Diana Fairgrass?
Yes.
Right. I'm going to add spotlight. So.
Okay.
All right. Gotcha. There you are, both on the screen.
Okay, great. So Diana, what issue would you like to tap on? Although I don't. So are we highlighted? I'm just seeing gallery view, which is fine. Let me see what happens when
I can see you.
Okay.
I'm not spotlighted.
Yeah. Okay. You might want to sit up a little higher because I'm going to want to see you as you tap.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect. So what would you like to tap on? What issue?
Can it be anything? What
Anything that
issue?
you feel
In-
now, anger, anxiety, stress, fear, any negative
No,
emotion.
stress.
Okay. So,
Just stress tonight. Yeah.
okay. So think of
Right.
something. What would be something that would be very stressful for you to go through? Something that you
Well, at the
probably
minute,
experience a lot.
at the minute, my sister is with me because of lockdown, and she's fussing all the time when I do things like fast or don't eat so much, and she keeps bringing in chocolates and nothing I want, and she keeps trying to pressurize me, thinking she's a favor or I don't know what. But that is stressing me. It's been happening for 2 months.
Family
And
stress.
nearer to Christmas,
Yeah.
she buys everything. So that's it's not much, but it's getting me down.
Okay. So close your eyes and think about it. There you are, trying to take care of yourself, trying to lose weight, trying to fast, trying to eat good food. And there's your sister coming in with the chocolate, offering you stuff that you just don't want this, and she won't stop. So as you think about that, give the stress a number on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the worst, well, 0 to 10.
Should I tell you?
Yes, please. Sorry.
8.
Good. All right. Not good that you're going through it, but now you're going to have a major tool to be able to do this. And by the way, before we start, after we do this, I'm going to show you how to do it without anyone knowing you're doing it. There are 2 ways to do that, and it's very cool. All right, so you're going to just go along with me saying out loud. And if everyone's mics are on, it is best when you're learning it to say whatever you're tapping for out loud and to tap along as we're doing it. It won't, it's not going to make a huge difference if you have someone there and you don't want to do it out loud, but it's usually better too. So we're going to start here. It's called the karate chop point, where you would come down on a brick if you were doing karate. And you're going to say, even though I have this stress, Diana.
Is this with eyes open? Is that okay?
Yes.
Oh, shut. Okay.
Oh, I just wanted you to be able to imagine it really strongly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm quite imaginative.
And for everyone else, it might be anger, it might be anxiety, it might be sadness, whatever negative emotion you have picked. And you can try pain. It does work. I'm going to guess 70% of the time with pain, but emotions are like 100%.
So we say this out loud or to ourselves?
No, you're going to say it out loud with me.
Okay.
And for everyone else, you're going to say to yourself whatever you're tapping for. Does that make sense? So. Yeah. I'll be saying stress. Someone else may be saying anger, sadness. So we're going to tap here on the setup point, and you're going to say, even though I have this stress.
Even though I have this stress.
I love and accept myself completely.
I love and accept myself completely.
Even though I have this stress.
Even though I have this stress.
I choose to let it go.
I choose to let it go.
And I forgive anyone associated with it.
And I forgive anyone associated with it.
Even if I don't want to.
Even if I don't want to.
Even if I don't think they deserve it.
Even if even if
I don't think they deserve being forgiven.
Even if I don't think they deserve it.
I do it anyway.
I do it anyway.
Because I do it for me.
Because I do it for me.
Okay. Third time, even though I have this stress.
Even though I have this stress.
I choose to let it go.
I choose to let it go.
Okay. So now we're going to go up to the top of your head, like a little yarmulke or a little beanie. The key point is right here, like if you were a puppet.
Yeah.
But you're going to get more points and it feels better. And I like this to feel good if you go around like this. And now we're just going to address it. This stress.
This stress.
You can keep it that simple, or you can say, this stress when my sister keeps bringing me the chocolate and the
no, this stress is fine. This stress.
Okay. No, I mean in general, when you're doing it, You can either make it very, very
Elaborate
specific.
or just
Yeah,
simple.
you can
Yeah.
if you want. Not
Okay,
now, but
thank you.
when you're doing it later. So now you're going to come down to these two fingers are going to be at the beginning of your eyebrows. And then the
Yeah.
third finger is going to fall on what we call the third eye,
Third eye. Yeah.
wherever it falls. This stress. So say it out loud.
This stress. This stress.
Yeah.
This stress.
Good. And
This
now, Dianna,
stress.
oh, you just have to say it once. The 3 times was for the setup. Now you're at the near your temple, but not where it's soft, the bony ridge right next to
There.
it.
Mhm.
This stress. And again, you can do
This-
it one-handed, left, right, or both. It's up to you. I like doing both. Now we're going to go under your eyes, not the fragile skin under here, but where the cheekbones, the top of the cheekbones.
Mhm.
This stress.
This stress.
Good.
This stress.
Under your nose. This is a particularly powerful acupressure point. Hope you can hear me.
Yes.
And this is under my mouth. This stress.
This stress.
Now between your lips and your chin. This stress.
This stress.
And now, when I said everyone teaches it differently, probably most people teach it where it's called the lung point. And if you press in here,
Yeah.
that halfway between the nipple and your clavicle,
Yeah.
you'll find there's a very sensitive point. It's called the lung
Yeah.
point, very powerful.
Oh, very. Yeah.
And most people teach it where you go like this. I actually like going back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
It's up to you, as I said, this is very flexible.
It's not
This
so.
feels better, and I like
Yeah.
doing it when it feels good. So this stress.
And it does
Good.
feel better because it is
That's right.
sensitive.
Now this is the chimpanzee point. See here, right where a woman's bra is, or
Yeah,
underneath
that's
your
right.
deodorant. And that I do with the flat of my hand, because if you do this with your fingers, there are lots of lymph nodes.
see
that can
Can't
also
see
be
it.
very sensitive.
Can't see it. Okay, I got it.
I do it with the, so
Like
it's like
that.
a tap,
Yeah. Okay.
the stress.
This stress.
Yep. So now we're going to do the hand. And when you go to the hand, then we're going to start doing, I'm letting go. So
Okay.
we're going to do the side of the thumb and the side of each finger right next to the nail.
Put your hand up, please. Hands
Pardon?
up. I can't see.
Okay.
That's it. That's perfect. Yeah.
So, and you're going to have a diagram of this, by the way. So it's the
Lovely.
side of each finger
Yes. Yeah.
right
Oh,
next to
okay.
the.
Same.
Does that
Okay.
make sense to everyone?
Mm.
Okay. So I'm letting this stress go.
And what are we doing it with? The thumb?
Your other fingers, yeah. Couple
That.
fingers.
Okay.
Actually do it with
Okay.
2 fingers. I'm
Sorry.
letting this,
The two, go on, 2 fingers, right. I'm letting this stress go. No,
yeah, you could do it with 1 finger. You could do
Oh,
it with
okay.
2 fingers.
that's
You're
great.
just
I'm
tapping
letting
on.
this stress go. I'm letting this stress go. I'm letting
Okay.
this stress go.
Wait, hold on, hold on. You're too good a student. Right. For the second one, I like to do, I'm letting this stress go right now.
I'm letting this stress go right now.
Third one, I'm letting this stress go completely.
I'm letting this stress go completely.
I'm letting this stress go right here, right now.
I'm letting this stress go right here, right now.
I've had it with this stress. I'm letting this stress go.
I'm letting this stress go.
And then you're going to go to the inside where a
Yeah.
nurse might pat you or take your pulse.
Yeah.
I'm letting this stress go
I'm
completely.
letting this stress go. I'm
Completely.
letting this stress go.
Completely.
Completely.
Completely. Yes.
Completely.
Now take a nice deep breath and then exhale with intention. Like that. Releasing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now think about your sister bringing all that food in, dangling chocolate in front of you, not listening to you, not doing what you're asking her to do, and think about the stress
Yeah.
that is in your body right now as you think
I
about
don't
it.
have any.
Good, great.
Okay.
So if you had gone from an 8 down to say a 4, then we would have done it again, and this will be in the diagram. And that
Okay.
time would say, even though I still have this remaining stress, you do that 3 times. The forgiveness part I put in whenever there's stress that concerns another person or anger, then I always like to put the forgiveness part in, because that is an element in it. And
Yeah,
sometimes
it makes
it
sense.
is,
doesn't it? I love her dearly, but I
Yeah.
could hit her sometimes. So I do forgive her. Yes.
yeah, sometimes the people we love the most are the people we get the most angry at.
Well, that is right. Absolutely.
Because they're very close to us. They know our
Anyways,
buttons.
oh, don't they just? Thank you.
So, how did everyone else do? Would anyone like to unmute and say where they started, what number they started with, and then what number they got to? Let me put this on.
Hi, it's Sarah here.
Hi,
I
Sarah.
I just did it for the pain in my bunions. It wasn't huge. Well, not, I shouldn't say my bunions, the bunions that I have. And they were about 4 and I appear to have gone.
Good, great.
Yeah.
Now, with tapping is kind of unpredictable. Sometimes something like pain or a situation that happens a lot can go away completely, and that's it. You never get it again. And sometimes it's for huge things, like the woman I told you about with the pain. She would get it a little bit, but nothing like she had had. Other times it'll come up and you have to tap, and then you tap again, and it's like an onion that you're peeling. So hopefully it won't come back, Sarah, but if it does, just tap again. Anybody else?
Or can I just say I had a funny story?
What?
I was on a train in the tube in London, and because I know what tapping is, I was watching this lady was like sitting on the train, and I was watching her because I knew what she was doing. And I said to when as we got off together, she's like, "Well, I hope nobody noticed. I had a terrible headache." And I said, "No, it's only because I know what it is that I was, it wasn't that obvious." But she was doing the old slithering.
I'm glad you said that, because actually that's one of the ways you can do it, but you can do it more subtly. Say you're at a meeting, big table, you're there with other people you work with, and you need to tap. Either you're very stressed out or angry at someone, or you have pain. So with your hand on your lap where they're not going to see, you can just subtly, and saying it obviously to yourself, not out loud, you would do the setup point. And then you could just very subtly do things that we all do all the time anyway. And you could do it, space it out a little so you don't look like a complete fidgeter. Although the truth is most people are not watching us and not thinking about us, and they're thinking about themselves usually. But you can just, do that, and you can slowly work your way down to all the points.
Until you start doing that.
Well, you can do this. Just, I don't know if you can see me, but but it's even better than that. After you've tapped for a while and you've like installed the wiring, and now your body and your mind are working together with these points, you can think about the points. And it's even more amazing than that. You can say to your mind, speed dial the points, and it will. And I like stories where I was the one experiencing it, because then I know it's 100% true. And what happened to me after I've been tapping about a year, I guess, I was driving from Los Angeles to San Francisco. I was hungry, I was late, I was stressed. I, at that point, had a thing about bridges anyway. I often got very anxious on a bridge. So as I got up to San Francisco, I took a wrong turn. It's now raining and I'm on the wrong bridge and it's slippery and it's rush hour. And I start to go into a major anxiety attack, the kind where your hands are shaking and your knees are shaking. And also I knew that the wrong bridge that I was on went nowhere. It went to this island. And then I was gonna have to turn around and come back, you know, to nightmare. So I just, and the last thing, of course, I'd want to do driving is start tapping. So I just said, speed dial the points. And the anxiety went like that, totally gone. And I was able to drive comfortably home. So that's how powerful and how amazing this is, as unbelievable as that might sound. But you do have to work with it a while. And the hardest thing about tapping is to remember to do it. We didn't grow up with it. We're not reading about it. People are not talking about it. It's not on television. And so we don't always think to do it. So the best thing to do when if you've decided you really want to make this one of the things you do to make your life better, is to pick a time, like when you get out of bed or when you're walking the dog, because you can do it in your mind when you're walking the dog. You don't have to let the leash go. So pick a time before lunch, whatever it is, and spend 2, 3, 5 minutes tapping. If there's nothing negative going on that you need to tap about, then do what I call tap for the good stuff. Basically tap in affirmations, either the affirmations that you have, which hopefully you've written down somewhere, or just very general affirmations. I'm looking forward to having a great day. It's great to be alive. I feel wonderful. Just good things. And you literally, you don't do the setup point then. This is to, you don't even need to know, but this is to release any, it'll be in your notes. It's to make sure there's no reversal in your nervous system, which would be like putting in batteries the wrong way. But when you're doing it for good stuff, you just start with the points and say stuff that you want to tap in. So right now, this is when I love teaching people too. I used to do this at all my classes, and in Southern California, quite often people would come in very stressed about traffic alone, or maybe they'd have a flat tire or a fight with their spouse. So they'd come in and their stress level would be an 8, 9, 10. And one of the things we would do is this simple, silly thing that we're going to do right now. So tap with me. I'm terrific, and say it out loud. I'm terrific. I feel terrific. I look terrific. And again, one or two-handed, doesn't matter. I am terrific. I'm terrific. I feel terrific. I look terrific. I am terrific. I'm terrific. I look terrific. I feel terrific. I am terrific. I'm just terrific. I'm terrific. I'm just terrific. Okay, as silly as that sounds, didn't you start feeling good? Any feedback? I see some smiles. Louise is nodding.
Can I say something about the first time we done it? Is that
Pardon?
okay? Can I say something about the first time we tried it?
Oh,
I
sure.
was doing something about the stresses, about something's happened in my family, and I forgot about the serious pain in my shoulder I've had for 2 weeks. But it just went away. I wasn't even thinking about it. I've not got it anymore. It's weird. I've had that for 2 weeks taking painkillers, and it's not there now.
Wonderful. And were you tapping for that when we
No.
were tapping? Yeah.
No, it's not there.
That's-
I've been all
yeah,
week. I've been
that's
taking painkillers for it.
That's what we call borrowing benefits.
I never done it because I didn't think it would work. But it's
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah.
Mad.
Oh,
Shocked.
it's great. Yeah, it's all about the acupressure points and the nervous system, the wiring, the connection between the mind and the body. In the end, we don't know precisely how it works, but We sure know it works. I just looked it up on PubMed. There are 53 articles about it, which is quite a few articles for something that's still fringe as far as, medical and traditional medicine are concerned.
Can you
So-
use it for sickness? If somebody's got something wrong with them.
What a good question. What kind of sickness?
Well, say, if you had a boil or even something broken leg or infection or anything.
Well, of course, you'd still want to see a doctor.
Oh yeah. But supposing you'd seen a doctor and there was just something that wasn't going away.
I'd say the same thing that we say for hypnosis.
Try it.
Try it, and
Okay.
chances are it's going to work.
What kind of words would you use, Diana? If
I'm trying to think. Like for an infection, an infection causes certain things like inflammation, headache, joints hurting. So then you would use that. You could also just say infection. And just like with Ron and his pain going away, even though he didn't say anything about his shoulder, it just helps the body to come into balance. So even if you can't quite come up with the right words, just do it anyway and say infection.
Yeah,
Okay.
I should say.
And I also say I use it on my clients in the chemist where I work for the stop smoking when they get all anxious and upset about the pains. I show them how to do the EFT. I learned that a lot of years ago. I was attacked by a drug user in the chemist where I work, and I got put through the front door, and I was off my work for 6 months. The hospital wrote my neck and things like that off. And I was looking for something, and I found EFT, and it transformed my life. So, and I remember one day our pharmacist, he was saying that his feet was really, really sore, and I says, out of 10, how sore? He goes, 11 out of 10. So I did the EFT on him. And at the end of it, he says, I need to write this down word for word because I don't know what voodoo you've done on me, but he didn't have any pain. And I think the EFT is seriously amazing. It does everything.
The reason I've seen it, I went to, the College of Medicine did a presentation on it. Someone did a presentation on it. And the reason I haven't used it or even contemplated it, because it seems, I envisioned myself sitting in a park somewhere and doing that, and what people would think. Yeah, not just that one, but all of it. And it does look a bit crazy. But the idea that you could go and install this at home in private, and then just give the command. What do you say it is? It's not a shortcut. It's
speed dial. Speed dial the points.
Yeah.
You can also just mentally, if you're in a situation where you can think through the points, just think about them, and imagine that you're tapping them.
You could feel the same.
Pardon?
You could feel the sensations. If you've done it a few times, you learn to feel those sensations, and you can bring those feelings back again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason I've never even looked into it. I saw someone demonstrating. I just thought that, to me at the time, because I just go to the next step, and I'm thinking, okay, well, if you're in pain or you've got a headache or you're feeling anxious and you're in public and you start doing that, because
then you get really anxious.
It would, wouldn't it? I mean, you just see someone doing that and speaking to themselves and doing that, you just think, well, there's something very, very wrong with that person.
Yeah.
But the idea that you can install it at home, and I can understand how that, absolutely understand how it works. Yeah. It's like a lot of techniques, the swish pattern, even the arrow. Once you've done it a few times, you can just visualize yourself going straight through it. You don't have to go through the whole technique. You kind of retrained your brain, as you said. I think that's what's happening, and it's giving it's not us doing anything, but it's almost like we're giving our clients permission to give themselves permission to say, okay, I can let that go. But however it works, our clients don't care, do they?
No, it works. It's all that matters.
It works. Yeah.
I use a lot of it, sorry, in the chemist where I work, because a lot of people come in with blocked noses in the winter and they're in a lot of pain with the cold. And can I do the tapping on the nose and then around under the here, breaking up all the blockages as well, and really, really clears all the nasal congestion as well, especially when you tap in here. I think it's wonderful.
So do you do it for someone else, Marie, or do you get them to do it for themselves?
No, I get them. I show them what to do in the chemist, and they'll do it actually when they're at the counter.
Right.
And speaking of that, I don't know if you remember at the beginning, I got a Kleenex and said I've got allergies. I should have tapped for that.
Mm-hmm.
Gone. And I wasn't tapping for that. No more runny nose. And I remember I did that once, and I had never done it for allergies before. And again, I was driving, and it was, the allergies were so bad that I couldn't get the Kleenex up fast enough. It was just like a running faucet. And so I did the points in my mind, and it stopped.
Dianna, can I ask you a question? I was taught that if it doesn't work in big jumps, so if you don't go from an 8 to a 3, it can be the room that you're doing in with electromagnetic fields, or the person is dehydrated. Have you had any experience of that?
No, but those sound like two good reasons. Who's speaking? I couldn't see someone's mouth moving.
Matthew. It was Matthew. No.
Hi, Matthew. Those sound like two good reasons. Also, it doesn't happen often at all, but every now and then someone will move like from a 10 to a 9 or an 8. But then after they go through the points a few times, 2, 3, 4 at the most, I've never seen it not work for a negative emotion, ever. And sometimes it just takes my breath away because it's someone who's so stressed out, and then they just come right down like an elevator that dropped.
Well, I've had quite good success with using it. The little that I know, I've had good success with it. It works every time.
And what kinds of things do you use it for?
The one that really stands out in my mind is for someone that had emotional pain. And actually, I run the arrow to start with, and they went from, I don't know, like a 10 down to a 5, and then I did the tapping to clear the 5 down to 0, and that worked perfectly. And you know, even today, that was about a year ago, if I talk to them about that subject, they feel no emotion for it at all.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you just reminded me of another story, Matthew, where I was working with someone who had a phobia about snakes. And at the time, I hadn't ever used hypnosis for that. We were mainly for weight loss and stop smoking. So I tried the tapping, and it wasn't working. And he remembered that I said, sometimes people tap other places. So he suddenly started tapping back here. He just had an instinct to do that, and he followed his instinct, and it went away. So it's mysterious and wonderful and miraculous. And if it doesn't work the first time, just keep trying. But usually it works the first time.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Doesn't it? So I was just going to ask a question. Have you ever tried it with animals?
I have. I had a schnauzer, and I would sometimes tap on her as she got older and had aches and pains. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
They've got emotions, and their emotions affect their physicality.
Mm-hmm.
Great question.
Yeah.
My question was, if you don't mind, how long lasting are the effects, or do you have to just keep on doing it whenever the pain reoccurs?
That's it. You never know. Sometimes it goes away completely. Something that, like the woman I told you about that had been in pain for 10 years. For the most part, she was out of pain from that point forward, unless she strained her body too much. She was a little bit older, And then she would just tap again and it would go away. The other interesting thing about her was she didn't tap on all the points. She had a couple points that she really liked. And she would just do those and it would go away. So sometimes it goes away the first time and that's it, never comes back. That can be a repeated emotional thing, like a habitual emotional reaction or a habitual stress that you've had where you can tap and never happens again. Or it can be something where you do have to tap again.
Okay.
And things like traffic or bad customer service or things that you read about with COVID, chances are you're going to want to tap again. Again, the hardest part about it is to remember to do it. So I would suggest putting Post-its on your mirror, on your refrigerator, next to your bed, and picking a certain time that you do tap every day for a while until it becomes more second nature.
I have a lot of people ask about the fibromyalgia pain, which is quite severe in some cases. Is it really effective for that?
It can be, although they would want to tap very lightly and they would want to, as quickly as they could, transition to doing it in their minds. Because people with fibromyalgia are very, you touch them and it hurts.
Yeah.
So you would certainly do it very, very gently, or maybe even just place the hand each place and experiment.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Shamsi.
Yes, it's Shamsi.
Who is it? I'm having a hard time seeing.
Shamsi.
Nancy?
Yeah, I must be at the end because I arrived a bit late.
Okay.
I have two questions. Can you do something to boost your immune system?
It's another great question. Since you can tap in what I call the good stuff, your affirmations, and that certainly has a huge effect. Why not? I would try it. Our brains and our bodies respond to what we say, even without tapping. So we all know how we talk to ourselves is so important because the brain takes it all in. And then if you add the tapping to it, I would think the brain would say, okay, yeah, let's strengthen that immune system.
So you would do this like the one you did when you were feeling great, or I don't remember the name, but the second.
I'm terrific. Yeah.
Yeah, this one I love.
My immune system is good. My immune system is strong. I'm very healthy. I'm healthy as a horse. Just things to strengthen that. Yeah. It's a great idea. I never thought of it.
Yeah, the thing is, Shamsi, that it's what I say about hypnosis. We're not giving people pills and potions. So what have they got to lose except for, the fear or the anxiety or the pain?
Yeah.
Everything to gain. So, that's the joy of tapping. It's the joy of hypnosis, really. We're not saying here's an experimental pill, go away and take it and hope for the best. We're just teaching them a pill. And I think this is great, actually.
Yeah.
And I love the way you present it, but I've never heard anyone say you could do it without actually doing the action. And that's a game changer for me in doing this.
Yeah, it's huge. And that story of me on the bridge, that sure blew me away because I don't know if any of you have had a full-blown anxiety attack, but they are nasty. They're intense. I mean, your hands and your knees are shaking and it just went right away.
I have a second question, which is I have glaucoma. It's pressure in the eye pressure. And
glaucoma?
Glaucoma, yeah. And the other day I went to the doctor and she said that it was terrible. Then I have to go back on Monday because it's really getting worse. What could I do for the pressure to come down? I would just tap what?
Well, I don't know if it would work for that. And you certainly want to go back and see your doctor.
Yeah, I have to go.
Yeah, I would say the pressure in my eyes, the glaucoma. But also where it can be really helpful is if you have to have surgery. Surgery creates stress and fear. And so you can tap that away if you do have to have that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a very simple operation today, and there's nothing to be afraid of, but surgery generally causes fear and stress, no matter how small it is. So yeah, the tapping would definitely help with that.
But could I say my pressure is going down, my pressure is going down, my pressure is lowering, my pressure is, I don't know.
Yeah. As
calmer?
Freddie said, what have you got to lose? Try
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Do it a lot before you go back to the doctor.
Yeah, I'm going Monday, so I have the whole weekend to do that.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Wouldn't that
Let
just
us
be
know. Shamsi.
amazing?
Let us know. You know,
Yes,
it's
I will.
yeah, it's but you know, I don't have any limits with this with hypnosis, and I'm sure you know Dianna doesn't have any real limits with tapping, because as we say, we're not you know just dishing out stuff that like pills and potions and chemicals. This is just using our mind, using our body. And I work with a girl today, and she's got oh, she did tell me the name of this disease she's got, but it affects her cortisol levels. And I've said we just did I've done quantum healing with her, and the arrow for any kind of irrational fear and anxiety she's got. And I said, wouldn't it be great when you go back to your doctor and they take your bloods and it's back to normal? You know, think about going in on Monday, Shamsi, and they find that the pressure's gone or gone down. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine it's happening. Imagine it's happening.
Imagining it. Yeah. And believing that that will happen.
I'm sure it can work. I do a lot of self-hypnosis since I went to the doctor's last week and she told me that. So now I'm doing this every day. So I hope,
Great.
and I will add the tapping.
Yeah, the power of your mind and imagination over your body is immense.
It is.
And the way I kind of teach my students, I say, you can all have a look at this if you want. Just imagine I've got a lemon in my hand, a bright yellow lemon in my hand. Can you picture it? Imagine I've got a serrated knife in this hand and I'm cutting through the lemon. You can hear the skin cracking. You can see the juices starting to fly up my wrist. And watch as I bite into the lemon. What's happening in your mouth? How many of you, your mouth's watering? Yeah? But I haven't got a lemon. I haven't got a knife. I haven't got anything. And yet by you imagining it strongly enough, your mouth and your body react. Take that one step further, Shamsi, and imagine that pressure. You can see it as a valve going down. You could see it as anything. Do the tapping, give the suggestion, and I bet you'll have a result. Yeah, I'll kind of money on it. I haven't got any money, so I won't bet. But yeah, I'm sure you'll have a result.
Yeah.
And please tell us.
Yeah, I believe so. I will post it on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Great.
So what Ron experienced is what I call collateral healing. You know, sometimes I'm sure you get this, Dianna, even without, sometimes when you're demonstrating something on someone even in the room will suddenly find their pain's gone or their anxiety's gone. It's amazing. And I've kind of termed it collateral healing when that happens. Like for Ron, you know, he was working on his anxiety and the pain in his shoulder's gone. It's just amazing.
Collateral.
Yeah.
Instead of collateral damage, collateral healing.
Collateral healing. It's just if you're in the vicinity, you're likely to get it. That's the way I look at it.
I was actually working on a lady who had a cancer. She was classed as terminal cancer, and she had it in her lung. And I do a Reiki master, so I was doing the Reiki, hypnosis, and EFT because I love EFT. And when she went back for her scan after 8 weeks, they couldn't find any cancer in her lung.
Wow.
And after that, she says, I now know, Marie, that I could actually heal myself. So she's well on the way now to get better. And that's doing that type of thing. Seriously, it's
I think provided we're not promising anything.
No, exactly. No.
I think once then my attitude is why not have a go at anything?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how I see it. And I've had the same experience, Marie, with a lady who came to see me with cancer. And I knew, my big thing now is create an emotion, give a suggestion. And I knew she had her husband she loved, a couple of kids she loved. She was probably only in her 50s. This woman I saw in October, she didn't believe she was going to live to January, see her girl get married. And I just said, imagine that tumor like a rock hard ball of ice. And then picture your family and the people you love and imagine that, you've all let me say it, imagine that like a burning hot sun in the summer sky. Imagine that block of ice melting away, getting smaller and smaller. And bear in mind, this is a woman that didn't think she was going to live till January. 18 months later, I'm driving through this little village in Kent, and she's walking her dog around a pond. And I said, I pulled over, and she said, I know what you're going to say. I'm not going to say anything. I said, I'm just pleased to see you. She said, I don't know what happened. She said, whether it's coincidence or not, but I've been in remission since I saw you. And this woman didn't think she was going to last 3 months. So my attitude toward it now is, because we're not giving them pills and potions, and because we're not promising them or guaranteeing them anything, we're saying, what have we got to lose? Let's do this. And this is something else, another tool. If you're a hypnotherapist, you're not using it, then it's another tool in your toolbox. As Matthew said, he's used the arrow, it came down to a 5. So he pulled out his EFT and got it down to 0. We don't have to be one trick ponies, do we? You don't have to say, right, I am only going to use this technique. It's not about us. It's not about what we think. That's how I feel about it. It's about our client. And every tool we have, we should be big enough to try it. And so let's just try this and have a go at it. So yeah, I think it's great. I've got my daily thing at 9, Diana. So
okay.
Is there anything you want to show us? Or if you want to send me the diagrams or whatever, is that where you get those? If you get them to me, because I've got everyone's email, and then I'll email it to everybody. All right.
Great. And also, based on what you just said, stress, that even if our clients aren't saying they're stressed, everybody is stressed on some level today because of COVID. They might not feel it, but we're like fish swimming in water. Maybe everyone but Freddie. Freddie volunteered to be the person that did the points, and I said, Freddie, you're so relaxed, and I don't think I have anything to tap on.
Yeah, maybe you can work on that. Maybe I think about a worry lobotomy. I think that's what's happened. I just can't bring myself to worry about anything. And,
it's really good to tap and assume that we have some stress going on just because of the news and what's going on, and the tapping really brings everything into alignment.
Great to offer it, and like you said, you work with your taxi driver. You then went on to work with somebody else.
Yeah,
and that's what's happening. It's a ripple. It keeps going out. But you're absolutely fantastic, Diana.
Oh, thank you.
I love that. And I'm sure I can speak for everyone here. You've just got a good heart. I know you have, and you're a really good and lovely person. It comes through in everything you do. So thanks for doing this for our group. I'll send you the recording, and I'll post the recording of this when it's done. Thanks very much. Anyone got any more questions? We've got like 5 minutes before I have to shoot off anyway, but anyone got any more questions?
I have a quick question. So I've been using tapping in my hypnosis office for about 15, 17 years. Recently, I'm seeing a lot of advertisements with local practitioners that are trained in advanced techniques for tapping, where I always thought the basis and the fundamental reason it works so great was the simplicity of it. Do you know anything about advanced techniques?
Yeah, in fact, that's why it went from emotional freedom technique, singular, to emotional freedom techniques, plural. There are advanced classes and programs and certification. I've never had any need of it. I just see this very simple way of doing it.
Unfortunately, Sandy, it's the same in all of the hypnosis, NLP. They reinvent the wheel to create another course, takes more money off you. It sounds pretty harsh, but I believe that's what's going on. Yeah, what Diana's shown, we know that what Diana's shown you tonight, it is simple. I think once you've done it a few times, you'll get your head around it, and it works. So why change it? Why try and make it advanced? And I say that happens throughout all of the hypnosis, NLP, all of these kind of techniques. You'll find an advanced practitioner's course. Yeah. Trainee practitioner. It's just to try and get another few pound out of you. I've got some, sorry to say, but that's my belief.
That's what I was thinking as well. I couldn't imagine what more you could do.
No, if what you're doing is working, why add something to it?
Exactly.
That's my opinion.
Well, they might have a program for something like limiting beliefs that would, kind of explore things more. I know Gary was working on that years ago. I've never looked at it, so I don't know. I'm happy
Well,
with
Can
what I
I
have.
say something about this? Well, I know that Robert Smith, he's had a practice for a long time. It's called Faster EFT, and he just uses like 5 points. And yeah, it works really good. This is what Mike Mandel uses as well, and he actually cured himself of fibromyalgia with
Really?
Faster EFT. Yeah, there's a video on YouTube. Yeah, but yeah, it's he just Robert Smith, he just he sort of filtered it. He was into tapping, and then he noticed that 5 points was enough. And Mike uses 6 actually for anxiety. He uses it as well. But yeah, it's yeah, he gives classes. Robert Smith, but
Well,
yeah, it's been for a long time already.
Diana might just take 2 out and call hers, take 3 out and call it faster, faster. Yeah,
Yeah,
faster
well,
and faster.
I don't know. I heard, yeah, I heard about Robert Smith before I heard about the EFT. So,
Well, I've got to go because I've got
yeah.
this next session. But thanks again, Diana. It was
Oh,
great.
thank you. And thank you all.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you. You're
Thank
brilliant.
you, Diana.
Thanks
Wonderful.
very much.
Loved it.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
I'll send you all the
Thanks, Diana.
handout when Diana's.
That'd be great. Yes, please.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Diana.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.